Hello, Real Life with Love fam. I am so excited, as always, about our show today. I have the most amazing Ms. Camay. And you know what's is so incredible is we're getting ready to go to an event that she has put together that is so badass. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all like it is. Okay, it's badass, and it is called Ms. Camay's Black Tie Fashion Gala, right? And it's gonna be October 16th in Seattle, Washington, at the DoubleTree. And it's starting with orange carpet because we're talking about breaking the silence, as Ms. Camay puts it so eloquently. I'm going to let her talk about it too, of course. But we're talking about breaking the silence against workplace bullying. Very serious subject. And I want to make sure that we're doing, different television shows that really awaken all of our awareness. Like you guys look at me, I know you can't tell me I'm not the baddest thing going and the flyest thing around. And I've experienced bullying in the workplace, as you all know. So actually targets are usually people who are quite strong, powerful, excellent at what they do, and likable, well regarded, and the bully actually most of the time feels quite intimidated. So in the workplace, we have a situation where the employer sets up an environment in which there's space and opportunity for a person who is willing to, the bully, hurt other people. Okay. So the workplace is like, oh, if you're going to come in and it's all about winning and making us money, then that's cool. We don't care who you have to kill. Okay. You get it? They don't care who you have to kill because bullying in the workplace is serial killing. The number one cause for workplace suicide is bullying in the workplace. This is very serious, right? And as we get deeper, I want to share some things with you, but off the top, 97.3% of the time, and this is according to Workplace Bullying Institute, 97.3% of the time, bullies are not made accountable for what they do to the people that they target. They get away with it scot fucking free. And I'm over that shit. Okay. So only 1.7% of the time, I mean, that's minuscule when you think about that 62.5 million people in this country. Meaning, I've told you guys before, if you consider the whole of the Central America, or not Central America, okay, Central of the U.S., okay, our states, 15 of our states, it would encompass the population of 15 of our middle states, okay, and that's incredible. That's far huger than so many countries in this world, right? And we've talked about this before, where I know myself and St. Robinson, we talk about this all the time, where if you look at Syria or Middle Eastern countries or whatever, we in America, we're really good at going, oh my God, look at how they're abusing people and mistreating them and doing this and that. And yet we sit here and we do bullying in the workplace. And we tell people that the problem is the bully, the problem is the target, who needs to have a thicker skin and needs to get with the bullying, and needs to get with the bully, treating them as less than human and dehumanizing them and humiliating them and trying to intimidate them. And I got to tell you something that really gets me is that the bully gets to hold over your job. And here in the U.S. and around the world, but we're talking particularly in the U.S., your finances mean a lot. I mean, that's how you eat. that's how you live. That's how you put a roof over your head, and those people who are related to you. That's how you do it. So if someone's threatening your job, what we've been taught here is to just fold in and get with the abuse. So I want to make sure that as we are getting ready for Ms. Camay's black tie gala event, that we are getting serious about being loud and proud against bullying wherever it happens, in organizations, companies, businesses, in the workplace. Okay. So as far as I'm concerned, this shit is over. All right. We are bringing bullying in the workplace to a close. And another thing that Ms. Camay is working really hard towards, like I am so applauding her, is she is working hard towards ensuring that the end result is that we not only, in the bigger picture, stop bullying in the workplace, but that we have laws against it. Because now in the US, there is no law against bullying. Like, people can treat you like shit any kind of time they want to, and there's no law that says that they have to be accountable, or that they have to be disciplined, or any of it. Okay, so yeah, that shit's over. So without further ado, I want to welcome our Miss Camay to our show. Hi, Miss Camay.
Hello, Miss Luvleigh Alston.
What's up, the Miss Camay show? How are you, darling?
I'm fabulous today. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous today. Very excited about the event. We're, within just a little over 2 weeks out from the event, and a lot of things are happening. A lot of people warned me about these last 30 days. I have to admit, I was warned. But it hasn't helped me deal with the pressure. But I do remember, okay, they told me about this. They told me it was going to be like this. So, but I'm very excited. A lot of great things are happening. People that we're connecting with, organizations, businesses. We've got great great sponsors, that are coming on board, and
yes.
Just it's all coming together. It's all coming together. So very, very exciting. Very exciting.
And I have to say, I'm just mega proud of you. Like, not only are you stunningly beautiful and incredible at everything that you do, but you're standing in the cut for all of us, and bringing bullying to the forefront. Workplace bullying to the forefront.
Yeah. And, Lev, I do really want to share that although that this is a fashion event and entertainment, and, we're very excited, and, we're very happy. This is a very serious topic, and the theme and the message for this event is workplace bullying. And we're talking, death by suicide. We're talking health issues. The effects of workplace bullying are extremely, extremely serious. And, not just workplace bullying, but bullying in general. Bullying happens in so many forms and in so many places, online, at work, at schools, with our children. So I really, really, really want to stress, the importance of the message that we are all coming together to speak about, and not be silent about it any longer.
Absolutely. I really thank you for that. And since you mentioned it, before we get into some questions that I have for you about some experiences that you've had with bullying in organizations and in the workplace, I want to stop all this noise that keeps making noise. I want to give our audience a little something from Agape Intelligence, and this is for all of you to get what bullying is, and get whether you're being bullied, or someone that you are close to, or a coworker is being bullied, and have a little understanding of what it is you're seeing. because a lot of times in the corporate world, in organizations, in groups, we are actually telling each other that the bullying isn't happening. It's all in the target's mind, you know?
Right.
Right. And,
Yes.
and you know, would you agree, Camay, that like really, you seriously are telling me that somebody walking up on me, putting their finger in my face, or having this harsh tone with me, and standing over me, or doing these what I call flash. They do flash. God, I say it all the time. They do flash meetings where they they're predators. Bullies are predators. So we're coming down the hallway, and then all of a sudden, here pops out your bully talking about, oh, let's meet right now. You know, about we don't know what. You know,
Right.
or an email or a phone call out of the blue. You know, and it's always some bullshit. Okay,
right.
So I really want to just go over 10 things, and I want if you out there in real life with love famland have pen, paper, your phone, whatever, or you could play this back anytime you want to. I just want you to hear this. So
hey, love, before we get started, sweetheart,
yeah,
I noticed that our video is not switching back and forth.
Oh, it does.
It does?
I moved it.
Okay.
I tweaked that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's right. I'm doing all kinds of weird controls behind the scenes.
I see. Oh, shoot.
Well, I want to tell you guys, and you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to say it, but I'm going to switch over to Ms. Camay so she can tell you yay or nay. This is what, you know, some of the experiences that she's had in a workplace or in organizations. Okay, so here we go. Number one, I got 10 things. Number one, constant unwarranted criticism, public and private. You experience that, Ms. Camay? You ever experienced that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, me too. I'm going to tell you yes for me too. I've experienced the same thing. Humiliation and intimidation, public and private insults.
Yes.
Yes for me too. Okay.
Yes.
Gossip, rumors, and sometimes inappropriate humor.
Yes.
Okay, so these are all the things that are happening to the target that the bully is doing. Okay, and I got yes for that too. That's happened to me. Inconsistent compliance with rules. They do one thing with their followers and whatever, but it's a whole set of different rules. Even if the policies and procedures say something, they don't necessarily follow them with us.
Yes, absolutely. Would you like an example?
I would love an example. Give me an example.
So in my role at Allstate Staff Council office, I was audited with my timekeeping, with my attendance, my late arrivals or absences. And my time entries and time card entries that had already been approved, had already been submitted, had already been approved, had already been paid to me were actually audited and changed. And the timekeeping, the coding of the timekeeping was changed after the fact to create an occurrence, which is, an opportunity for my supervisor to write me up.
Yes.
And so that audit happened to me and to my timekeeping, but not to the other support staff that were in that office. And when I challenged the audits and the changes, and my first initial response was, this is Allstate, this is a corporation. I've submitted these timesheets. You've paid me on these timesheets. Mm-hmm. They were approved. And how are you now coming back and changing these entries? And now it's creating an attendance issue for me, which I've never had ever in my entire professional history. And her response to me, my manager's response to me at that time was, "Oh, Allstate has changed their attendance policy."
Okay, so after
And
the
I said,
fact, after you've already, so how do you change? Okay, so you changed the attendance policy after whatever. Let's say you really did that, which, okay, bullshit, but okay.
well, right. Well, and corporations don't change their rules in the middle of the year. Corporations change their rules every year, annually, every year, and new policies and new procedures, or the same policies and same procedures are sent out every single year. I've been, I was with the company for 4 years, and they do it. It's a corporation. They don't just change the rules that day or that month. They change them annually. So yes, you're correct.
Just because it's you. Actually, it's just because hey, we're gonna change the rules.
Right,
so
right.
Camay is a target now, and this woman is a bully, so she gets to just change the rule just because she can.
Yes,
okay?
and so in that conversation, when that was the reason that she gave me, I then went to HR and questioned HR. Hey, what is our policy about timekeeping? And it was reiterated what the policy was on timekeeping, which is not what my leader told me that day. And I also went further and asked human resources, when was this policy changed? Was it changed recently? No, and the response was, no, this policy hasn't been changed for the last, I think he told me 6 years.
Wow.
And so I took that information that I received from our corporate human resources department, who had no idea what was going on, who I was. I called unanimously and asked about the policy. When I took that information back to her, her response was, well, this is a change with our local HR here locally that has changed the policy, and we have been doing it wrong all this time. And my response was, okay, the policy is what it is. Okay, fine, I get it. We've been doing it wrong all this time. Okay, fine. But how are it's changed from today going forward. It was brought to your attention as a manager today going forward. So how are you going back 9 months and changing timekeeping that's already been submitted, already been approved, and already been paid, and going back and now changing the coding? And of course,
because she could. Because
right.
Bullies do what they do because they can.
Absolutely. Right? So I wanted to give people a good example and explain what that bullet point looks like, or what it feels like, or what it sounds like, because these things are happening in the workplace with many, many people, but they're not thinking, am I being bullied? They're just thinking, oh, this is the rules here.
Right. And it changes from 24 hours to 24 hours, or 15 minutes to 10 minutes, or whatever, when you're being bullied.
Right. Correct.
So, okay. So I keep doing this. I want you to keep, giving us examples, because this is so good, and I really want to bring up the lifetime, you're a lifetime queen, right?
Correct. Right.
And there's such bullshit bullying going on there too. Yep, I'm gonna call it out. I'm gonna call it what it is. Yeah, here I am. There's bullshit going on in pageantry as well. And really, pageantry is supposed to be about so much more: uplifting women, cultivating their power and their strength, and building their esteem. All of these great things, and yet we find that there is quite a bit of bullying there too. So please feel free to use those examples as well as I'm going down the list.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna call them out. Okay.
Right.
Okay. And just in case you guys are wondering, I'm gonna call out. I've called out my bullies before too, but I'll call them out again. Hi, Golden Valley, kiss my ass. Okay. Hi, Head Start here in Stanislaus County, kiss my ass. All right, because you guys have eroded what the job was really supposed to be about so very much, and you've hurt so many people, including families and patients and stuff. I just wanted to give you a shout out to my personal bully. What up?
Oh, I love it, love. I love it.
Yeah. What up? What you got? Yeah. All right. Back to an AI moment. Okay. Okay. So here we are talking. Okay, I'm going right back to Miss Camay because I want her to be able to say yay or nay to these along with me. Okay.
Okay.
We were just talking about this a little bit. Consistent write-ups, often unfounded, fabricated errors to ensure loss of job, income, and health insurance.
Absolutely.
Yep, I got a yes for that.
Absolutely.
Mobbing and isolating using the silent treatment. So getting people together as your little followers and whatever. And let me tell you guys something that I think is really important to say. And that is that a lot of times co-workers, first of all, Ms. Camay said it too, that we don't even realize that that's what's going on, or we try to talk ourselves out of it or whatever. But it's really fear-based. So as co-workers and as people seeing what's going on, you're just trying not to lose your job. I get you, boo. I ain't mad. I know. But here's the thing about bullying. If we don't stand up to it, you're not excluded from the bully's behavior. That's what I need for everybody in the workplace to know. Just because it's not happening to you right at this moment doesn't mean it's not going to be your turn. They don't stop at me as a target. Once I'm no longer the target, it's your turn. So that's why it's also important that we don't want to see. It's just like with domestic violence. We don't want to see the next person go through this. That's really important to myself and Ms. Camay. I know. So what do you have to say about mobbing, Ms. Camay?
Well, I actually did witness that happening in my work environment because we all worked in an open environment. We all worked in one office space and in cubicles, and the space was very small. And so any conversations that happened within the office were not closed for anybody else that would have been sitting at their desk. Mm-hmm. And so there were other support staff in my office that saw what was going on, and they heard what was going on, and they could feel the experience and feel the energy of something going on in the office. When I would go into a conference room to have a conversation with, human resources, even though people didn't necessarily hear the content of that conversation, they still experienced the energy that was operating in that office. And so, in meetings or in, group meetings or group settings, comments would be made, or, little things would be said, little, drops of, like you said, kind of sarcasm or humor would be dropped, but it would be an eyebrow raiser for people, enough for them to be like, oh, I don't really want to get involved in any of that. And whatever's going on between, Camay and our leader, I just want to stay clear of that.
Yes. Absolutely.
And yes. And so what it does, and I want to be very clear in how I explain this, what that does for kind of the bystanders or the onlookers is that gives them a sense of security, because it's a leader, because it's their manager that is doing this. It gives them a sense of security to be able to behave the same way.
Yes. And the organization and the employers promote them. And first of all, they don't do any disciplinary action. Like we said, 97.3% of the time, there is zero disciplinary action towards the bully.
Right.
And also there is no protection for that 97.3% of the time, there's also no protection for the person being targeted.
Right. So let me share this with just to elaborate on what you just said. So I walked into the office one day and I said good morning to an administrative assistant that I say good morning to often, all the time. I've never had any negative interaction with her. I've never had any issues with her. Her and I never worked together on any cases. We didn't support the same attorneys. And I walked into work one morning and said, good morning, because she sits right by the front door, and she didn't respond. She didn't say good morning. And I thought maybe she had, like, you know, her headphones, or she was listening to music. And so I stopped and I turned and looked at her and I said, good morning. And she said, and she yelled at me, and there were other people in the office as well, because remember, we sit in this open environment. And so she looked at me and she said, can't you see that I'm ignoring you? And I thought she was joking, because we work in a professional office.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We work with attorneys. We work in the judicial system. We you know, this is a professional office that we work in. And I thought she was kidding. And I said, oh, well, why are you ignoring me? And she goes, I don't have to talk to you. I don't have to respond to you. So don't ever talk to me again.
Now, Camay, I want people to, you know, if you guys need to play back exactly what Ms. Camay just said in this video, and the tone and the force with which it was said, and that this was done to humiliate Ms. Camay, because this person, as far as I know, right, they also were the bully's personal assistant or whatever.
Correct. She was. Yes, she is. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So I want to make sure that people see and feel, you know, what you were feeling, to have somebody really go off like that. Like,
right.
What are we having a moment? And for you to have to maintain and you know, because with Agape Intelligence, we learn to respond. So for you to maintain mastery of your thoughts and your behavior, while this girl gets to act, let me just think, like a pure bully's assistant. I mean, seriously, I mean, this is mobbing at its finest. Yeah, I'm just like I just want everybody to get this.
Well, you know? and let me say, you know, I was humiliated that morning. I was very upset. My feelings were hurt, very hurt. I ended up walking out of the office and going and calling a friend, and I was in tears that morning. I could not believe how she spoke to me. You know, she had no reason. We had, like I said, we never had any negative interactions. I never had any issues with her. She's a young legal professional, you know, just starting her legal career in the industry. I just could not believe it. And I did report her behavior to HR, and HR had a conversation with me. They had a conversation with her, and this is what they came back and told me, love. They said to me, this HR gentleman called me and told me, she is not required to speak to you.
Okay. And so I got, hold on one second, because we just covered two more things here. Because bullying is so, it's so, oh my God, it's so much terrorism and tyranny. Okay.
Yeah.
Yelling, screaming, because this woman was raising her voice. Her tone was out of order.
Yeah.
And, argumentative, and HR supports the misuse of policies.
Correct. And okay. And I questioned HR, and I said, we work in a professional office. I said good morning to her. I didn't ask her what she's doing after work or what her life is about outside of this office. I didn't even ask her how she was doing. I said good morning to her, because that's what we do as professionals. And his response to me was, she does not have to respond to you. She does not have to talk to you.
Okay, I guess she doesn't have to respond or talk to you, but she did respond to you. And the way she responded to you was to be to try to humiliate, intimidate, and start some things in the office that were totally uncalled for, unnecessary, and as you said, unprofessional.
Right.
They give us the rules, and then they don't have to apply those rules to themselves. That's another thing with bullying and mobbing.
Right. Well, and because of what she was exposed to, the behavior that she saw, the treatment that she saw, coming from, our direct supervisor, which was her, who she was supporting, she felt completely safe and completely confident in her behavior towards me. I can say whatever I want to say to Camay, and nothing's going to happen to me. She felt,
and nothing did,
and nothing did.
She was applauded for that behavior, and I have a more conspiratorial mind because I do me and AI, we're constantly looking and studying people when they're don't even know we are, and all this stuff. It's my job to do observations as a part of Agape Intelligence, right?
Yes.
And I gotta be real with you out there, fam. It was purposeful. That was theater. That young lady did that shit on purpose. She had a choice. She chose that behavior toward Miss Camay. And she knew that people were there listening. She wanted to make sure that her voice was loud enough for everyone. He could have said, could I speak to you for a moment, Ms. Camay? And gone and said, this is a boundary for me, and, whatever. In a quiet, private environment in which she didn't come out of there and start gossiping about it. You understand? And I want you guys to get the difference between gossiping and venting too. Venting is when you, like Miss Camay called a friend of hers and said, I'm going through this. This just happened to me today. And you talk it out with that friend, but it doesn't go all over the office or whatever. Gossiping, you're just spreading one rumor after the other to try to make sure that you are attacking that person both publicly and privately.
Yes, and she it's funny that you do mention that, because as soon as our supervisor came into the office, which was maybe about 10 minutes after this incident happened, that is immediately what she did. She took her into a conference room and told her what she did. And of course, I don't know what the conversation was. I wasn't privy to that, but I sat and watched her do that. Take her into a conference room and immediately tell her what happened.
And I'm going to pose again that they had already set this up. Because this bully had been playing this whole thing with you since she got this new position.
Right. And, a year earlier, yes.
Yeah. So she was trying to put nails in what she thought was your coffin. And the reason I'm saying is what she thought was your coffin is because we know in Agape Intelligence that we don't have control over somebody else's behavior.
Right.
And we do have control over our own, and we do have control over our responses. And you were able to give response after response, using AI, and I just loved that. Now, something else that the bully does is they lie and deny the target's experiences, their excellence, their accomplishments, and their likability. Has that happened for you?
Yes.
Yes, me too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And here this is where I really want to bring in the lifetime queen. I mean, I want you to give me an example of that using that.
Using my lifetime title.
Yes.
Yes. What was the example you wanted?
You know, lying, denying that you as a target, you know, the bully is denying that your excellence, your accomplishments, your likability, definitely trying to make sure that people don't connect with you. And if they do, then they call that person out and say, you can't be friends with Ms. Camay. If you are, we're going to drop your ass, you know. And lifetime queen doesn't really mean lifetime queen. Lifetime queen only means that until you're dead to me, not actually dead. So last time I looked, lifetime queen was somebody's lifetime, not, you know, when the pageant didn't like you anymore.
Right. That's actually a really significant statement, because that actually came up in conversation with one of my sister queens recently. So, you know, to give you an example of that, you know, there's been a lot of controversy and a lot of gossip and conversation, you know, from people who claim to know the truth about my lifetime title. And I did a lot for my pageant system. That's why I was crowned a lifetime queen. I was involved in the pageant system with the national office. I was a legal advocate for the national office because of my professional experience, my formal education. I dealt with a lot of issues internally with the national office during my active ambassador reign. I coached and mentored other women in that pageant system. Created the Washington State Trilogy with 2 women from Washington State that I coached and mentored and took to nationals or traveled to nationals with and competed where they competed and won titles. As a lifetime queen, I coached and, I recruited and mentored women across the country who are actually active title holders within that system right now today. Their elite queen is a woman that I brought into the pageant system as a vendor, and
Wow.
you know, shared the experience of pageantry with her as a vendor. And you know, so I wasn't doing those things, love, to prove anything to anybody. I was doing those things because that was the greatness that was put in my heart to do, to be that example to other women and empower them to walk in their greatness. And when I started to go in my own direction, when I started to do work for Miss Camay, you know, when the Miss Camay show took off and I started, you know, to go in that direction, when I stopped recruiting delegates for that pageant system, you know, that's when the issues started to happen. And so now here we are, present day, and these women who I have supported in business, who I've supported personally, who I have, you know, walked on their platforms with them, because they no longer favor me, they have denied my involvement in their pageant system.
Yes.
They've denied my contribution to that pageant system. They have denied the women's lives that I have touched within that pageant system, whether I coached them, whether I mentored them, whether they watched me from a distance and decided to compete in pageantry because of the example that I was to them. These women have denied, they have denied my complete involvement in that pageant system. They have gone as far as saying on social media publicly that I am no longer a representative of that pageant system, that I rescinded my lifetime title, which is absolutely not true. I've only rescinded one title in pageantry in my pageant journey, and that was my title as Ms. Everett Plus America. That was the only title that I've ever rescinded. And now they have gone so far as alienating any other women in their pageant system that is supporting me, and they have
even talking to you. Like it's also if they find out that, I used to say this about myself, I swear to God, they have these love meetings. you know, and they like put pictures of me. This is what she looks like. So when you see her ass, don't even, just act like you don't know, right? And I feel like what they're doing and have done to you with this particular patent system is, it's like, oh, you can't even talk to Miss Camay. Like this is fifth grade or some shit. If you're friends with somebody, then you can't be friends with me. What kind of shit is it? What?
Right. Well, and love, let me just say this. I've always talked about the biblical foundation in pageantry that I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
I will never, I mean, they can say whatever they want to say. They can do whatever they want to do to me. They can do whatever they want to do. But my belief in the biblical foundation of pageantry and being a public figure and how that can empower a woman to walk in her God-given greatness, that is never going to go away. So I've had women who are competing in that pageant system who have reached and here today, present day, right now, they've reached out to me. They're interested in my pageant coaching and consulting that I do, who are competing in that pageant system. And I will coach that delegate, because it's not about the pageant system. It's not about the women who are behind the scenes. This is about that woman, that delegate, that her greatness and what she wants to do in her life, and how pageantry can give her the platform and the power in her voice to do that. And it's because of my belief in the biblical foundation of pageantry that I am able to do that. After I have been sent messages, I have emails of messages that national director has sent to other people, spreading gossip and vile about me. I've seen what has been written about me. I know what they're saying. I know what they're doing. And still here today, I can still, because of who I am, I can coach women who are competing in her system, because this is not about them. It's not about, it's just not about them. It's about the woman who's competing.
Exactly. And this is what I love about the breaking the silence. That's why I'm with you 100% about breaking the silence of bullying, because this is bullying.
Right.
What they're doing is bullying. And so I really, I really love exactly what you said. And I want to make sure that our audience really picks this up. So we have Miss Camay here who is so very strong and powerful. And bullying can start to erode and break down anyone. In fact, they go after people who have strength and power, because the bully feels like they see the target that they choose as to their terrorism, for them to terrorize, as competition. And even though the target doesn't see that at all, like the target's just doing a great job and doing what they do and, being wonderful and great. And like Ms. Camay said, living out her God-given talents and gifts and sharing them with other people. The target has no idea that the bully actually sees them as competition. Like people used to say that to me, well, don't you think they're jealous or whatever? And I'm like, well, jealousy doesn't really, I think every human has one of the 7 deadly sins. I don't have a better way to put it. And mine, I've said this before, fam, mine is wrath. So I really have to work on myself and my wrath. Because, I created AI so I could stop trying to cut a bitch. Okay. So, I was always like, I'm trying to save your life. What are you doing? You better back down, boo. But yeah, I really, in all seriousness, I created Agape Intelligence for a lot of reasons, but one of which is my behavior and reacting to these diverse situations in which bullying was a part of the situation. Because like Ms. Camay said at the top of this, bullying underlies so much of what happens here in America, whether we're in school, whether at home. I see kids. Okay, let me stop this for 1 second. I got to take a sideline. Parents, stop letting your children beat up on each other. That shit is not okay. I'm just saying. Okay, now back to where I was saying. Okay, so we see it in the schools, homes. We are definitely experiencing it as adults in the workplace, at college. I mean, it's so ridiculous. And it's this whole thing of a no-win scenario for the person who is the target of the bully's terrorism, you know? And the person who's being targeted by this terrorist, by this predator, has no freaking idea. That's why we're going through these 10 things. And we're almost at number 10. And actually, we kind of covered it, because what the next thing is, employers set up an environment in which the winner, basically the bully, is not only rewarded, but applauded and held up high. They can one of the things that bullies do is they will start to take credit for the great things that you've done. They'll start attaching their name to what you've done and calling it their own in the workplace. Yes. And I that's another thing. Something that happened to me at Golden Valley was, as soon as my bully, Connie, started I was in a meeting, and I was like, wait, what she just say? I saved this company close to $1 million because of something that I was putting into place. And this chick sat there and was like, oh yeah, we're going to do this. Yeah, because I had gone to her and showed her the, spreadsheet and what I was doing. Really? Seriously? So they are able, because of the employer too, and let's not forget the fact that the bully is willing to hurt other people to win. Okay. And the employer is okay with that because, we've talked about this before, Ms. Camay, you said this before, that, that bully gets them results and paper to get them money.
Right.
No.
Right. Well, and in my specific environment, and I'll talk about Allstate. Allstate's a corporation. It's a publicly traded company. We have, stockholders, and numbers are big. And so when we have a high disposition rate, how many cases we have open versus how many cases have settled, how many cases, we settle in litigation under the evaluated amount, the EA, those generate numbers and percentages. And as long as those numbers and percentages were always great and always increasing and always improving, my immediate supervisor would always receive accolades. Oh, she's doing a great job in that office, a great job in that office, a great job in that office. They never addressed her behavior, ever, because her numbers were good. They never, and something that that I also do want to share is when before my experience as a target, because you did say, bullies are bullies. They're going to target whoever the next person there is in line to target.
Mm-hmm. You're not exempt from the bully's behavior. You think
absolutely.
You are if you're just like a standby and watching, or you don't even realize what's going on.
Right.
That's why we're trying to make you aware.
Yes.
But you're not exempt from their behavior.
Right. Absolutely. So there were people that were bullied in my office, and I never even saw it. I never realized it was happening. I actually even had an attorney that I worked for in the past tell me I'm being bullied. And I was like, no way. Are you kidding me? Like, no. This is like the best place to work ever. You're not being bullied. And then, my opinion was like, well, you haven't been here that long. Maybe it's just not working out between you and, our supervisor. No, I was one of we have an office of, I think, like 15 people total. At my 4-year anniversary, Lev, I was one of 2 people left from 4 years prior. None of our original staff was in that office on my last day of work. And I never understood why, because my experience was always so good, and I loved my job, and I loved my office, and I loved what I did. And I could not understand why people always left consistently. We always had a consistent turnover, always. It's like every month it was happening. And so now that I am removed from the environment and am free from the situation, and thank God, I'm so grateful. I really am very, very grateful that I'm no longer in that environment. But now that I'm out of that environment and I'm actually talking to people who are no longer there as well, our stories and our experiences are exactly the same.
Yes.
They've been bullied as well. It just happened to them before it happened to me.
Yes. And I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah. So because we're talking about, the bully and their behavior, I want to just share something. Catherine Mattis, who is affiliated with the National Workplace Bullying Coalition, she will be at the event at the Black Tie Gala, speaking to our guests about workplace bullying. She wrote a book that's called Back Off, Your Kick-Ass Guide to Bullying at Work. Here's the book. I just want to show it to you guys. And I want to read to you the money. I want to talk money and corporations and what descriptions are happening in the office on that level, and the dollar amount, and what corporations are seeing. So I'm just going to list a few because there's several here. The time spent by human resources hiring replacements for people who have left, $20,000 a year. 20 grand. Time spent by 5 employees talking about the bullying behaviors in the staff meeting after the staff meeting is over, $1,000. Overtime costs associated with high demands of the bully that go beyond normal working requests, $15,000. Time spent by 3 employees not working at full capacity because they spend time worrying and talking about the bullying behaviors. That's a whopping $18,000.
Wow.
And actually, I misstated. I said this is every year. This is actually every month.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because the studies that I've seen where they talked about the financial aspect of it.
Yes.
Not to mention, and I'm sure she talks about this in the book, right? That it also has companies lose so much money when it comes to healthcare and sick time. Because this causes bullying in the workplace. Really causes stressors such as heart attacks,
right?
Strokes,
right?
I myself had been not feeling well. I mean, I was working as a director, so I was holding up 150 people. They were under my span of control, meaning I was their leader. So I off and on wasn't feeling well, but I still went to work. I came to work because that's what we do. Hell or high water, we deliver the post like we the mailman. We
right. Yeah, exactly. Well, and to go on further, the cost of lost clients because an employee called in sick due to fear of dealing with abusive behaviors, $10,000. And I will tell you,
a month.
Wow. Yes. So, and Allstate's focus was clients. Our client, stats, how our clients perceive us, our client reviews, what our clients are saying about us. And again, that was another number that was measured. Cost of lost client who left because he was bullied, $25,000. And then here's the big one. Time spent by human resources dealing with appeals to unemployment insurance because of people who were fired at the hands of the bully. The total estimated cost, this is how much money bullies are costing corporations every month, $94,000 a month.
Wow. And that's over top of all of the different things that she listed, that are happening a month. Dear God, really? I mean, so here's our thing for corporations. Are you gonna continue to allow this? I have to pose that question to corporations. And I have to before we wrap up, Ms. Camay, I mean, because we've covered a lot of things here, and God, we're not done. every time we get together, we're like, okay, this has got to be a series, so we're not done with this series. We're going to come back and again with this series, because we really want to make sure that everyone is getting this as we're getting prepared for the Ms. Camay Black Tie Gala here October 16th in Seattle. I want to ask you for one thing that Agape Intelligence has taught you that has worked for you that might work for other people. And Agape Intelligence is the relationship behavior mastery, thought mastery program that I designed to help you through your daily lives, but especially, work with people when they are going through traumas and different things in their daily lives, because we do. So, what's the one AI thing that we can leave our fam with today that could really help them?
Well, love, that's actually a great question. And what I would say is the biggest impact that AI had for me was upper limiting behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You taught me how to respond differently to her bad behavior in a way that eliminated upper limiting behavior in myself.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so let me explain. When I was initially going through my experience, every email, every review, every documentation, every negative thing that I was told about myself, my performance, my attendance, my behavior, I would respond in a certain way to. And I would respond to defend myself. I would respond to explain myself. I would respond with taking the time to, go and write a rebuttal, because, that's what we do in the legal field is rebuttals.
Yes.
And so my time and my energy and my behavior was focused on reacting to what she was doing, which created more stress and more challenge for me to do my work, because there's only so many hours in a day. I can only get so much done in a day. And so when I'm spending half of my day, and it's not just like, okay, I'm going to walk in and the first 4 hours of my day, I'm going to be dealing with her. It's okay, I'm here for 8 hours, and it's, when is it going to happen? So, I'm anxious, and I'm on, on guard about, okay, when is it going to come? And always having to stay prepared and being distracted by, what her bad behavior is going to be. So initially I spent a lot of time, responding, or I don't want to say responding, but really essentially reacting to her bad behavior. And when I was pulled out of my environment, that's when you and I started to work together, is when I was pulled out of my office in December of last year. And so for 4 months, you taught me AI behaviors, and we had conversations about the things that had happened and what I had gone through, and you taught me how to respond differently to the behaviors, to her behaviors. So when I went back to work, which was, I just want to tell everybody, that was not the plan. That was definitely not my plan to go back, but yes, for personal reasons I did go back. And so when I went back and I was the environment was the same environment, they changed nothing despite the medical documentation that was given, despite my doctor's recommendation for me not to return to that environment. The environment was the same exact environment. And when I went back, it was very different for me. The experience was very different for me because I was responding to behaviors instead of reacting to them. So for example, my boss came to me one day and she said, "Hey, can I talk to you?" She pulls me into a conference room and she starts to tell me how I'm not good enough in one aspect of my job. And she starts to tell me without specifics, without, you know, really citing a specific case or a specific instance. She was speaking in very broad terms, but essentially how you're not doing this good enough or you're not doing this right. And I was busy that day because I'm focused on my work, because I have a responsibility and a commitment to what I do as a business professional, as a paralegal, okay?
Yeah.
So I got up and walked out of that conference room and left her sitting there.
And that was an AI moment.
Absolutely.
Because I definitely teach, you know, people that you get to make a choice. You do not have to stay in a conversation or in any place that's uncomfortable for you. You can say, "Oh, this conversation ends now."
Right. And she, you know, she wasn't telling me anything. She was just wanting to beat me down that day. And as I was walking out of the conference room and, you know, I opened the door, she tried to reel me back in. She tried to, you know, she again came to me with, you know, well, the attorney that you're supporting, you know, she's out on vacation and she asked me to follow up with you about this. And I turned around and I said to her, "That's already been done." What now what? It's already been taken care of. Well, she asked me to follow up and I said, "Okay, well, you need to go follow up with the attorney because I've already done that." And evidently the two of you aren't communicating clearly because she should have told you that it's already been done. Why is she telling you to follow up with me on something that's already been done? And she really couldn't respond. She had nothing to say.
Right, because she was expecting, she ambushed you, first of all, with the meeting. And she was expecting something else, a reaction. Because bullies count on you reacting.
Correct.
So, like you said, with Agape Intelligence, you are no longer reacting, you are responding.
Right.
And you have really been cultivated with Agape Intelligence. One of the things that we did, you mentioned this, is, you know, one of the things for us is that we want to make sure with Agape Intelligence that we are working with the whole person. So we make sure to do referrals. You know, so I remember having to say to you, this was before we started working, you know, on sessions, but I remember saying to you, "You know what, Camay, HR is not there to help you. That's not their job." Okay.
Right.
And so they're there for the company. So what I need you to do is stop having these conversations with them, you know, and I want you to just talk to me about how you're feeling or whatever, but not this, because they're going to use that against you. Okay.
Yes. And in the beginning, you know, before I was pulled out of my office, in the beginning, I was going to HR with everything. Mm-hmm. Every single thing that happened, every conversation, every email, every inaccuracy, I went to them with every single thing. And when I was pulled out of my office and you and I started working together and then I went back, I never called HR. I called them about the one incident that I shared about the one young lady. But my issues with my manager, because they did continue, I didn't call HR about not one of them at all.
Yeah, because to what end? Because HR, I got to tell you guys in HR, you're going to have to come up. And I really do think that you need to get in contact with our company and STOA Consulting, and let us work with you as HR people so that you can understand that you are ensuring that bullies exist, and that is not okay. And I understand why, because some of you really don't get it. I'm not quite sure why you're still calling yourself human resources, but okay. But but you know, we can work on that. We can work on, you know, being human resources. But the fact of the matter is, because I'm going to be straight with you, just like I would with anybody else's human resources. I'm telling you guys, as employers, that what Ms. Camay is telling you is happening every day, all day, and you guys are getting with it as employers, as organizations, as clubs, as groups, as you know, lifetime queen pageantry. I mean, really, you're getting with it, and I need to make sure that those of you who are out there and you're being targeted by a bully's terrorism, that you understand that one of the things that we do with Agape Intelligence too is we will refer you to your doctor, and we will refer you to you know, the different parts of you that need to be taken care of, you know, medically, you know, fiscally, all these different things. We're going to say you need to get with EEOC. We're going to do that with you because that's a part of Agape Intelligence, because the bully really attacks your whole life. You know, they attack you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, you know.
Right.
So I need to make sure that you guys are not going to have a stroke on me, have a heart attack, you know, your labs are straight, you know, being a medical professional. And you guys all know I'm an RN. Ms. Camay had to remind me of that today. She's like, you know, you've been an RN forever. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Life is in 2 states. That's true. You know, we have to make sure. And Ms. Camay is really bringing this out. I keep telling you guys, you've got to participate in the stop, stop the silence, about workplace bullying, with Ms. Camay's Black Tie Gala that's happening October 16th.
Yay! Yes.
I think I've said it 6 times. Hello. Follow Ms. Camay on Facebook. Get with the program. We're trying to help you.
Yeah, love, I want to just share something, because we do have a global platform here, and we are reaching the world with our message. And I'm very grateful that we have technology that enables us to reach every person in every corner of the world, with whatever message that we share. We recently had a sponsor for Ms. Camay's Black Tie Fashion Gala, Kimberly Walker with Curves Beautifully Empowered. She is not able to attend the gala herself. She does live here in Washington. She's actually one of my sister queens, who is someone who, yes, she is somebody who I actually played a role in her pageant journey as well. I'm just saying. But she is sponsoring the event with one ticket, with a gala ticket. And so Ms. Camay International is partnering with her in her sponsorship and offering a second ticket. So we are currently giving away a pair of gala tickets to a recipient that we choose to attend the gala for free. It's a sponsored set of tickets, and all they need to do is send an email to Miss Camay International at gmail.com, and that's Miss spelled MS, Miss Camay, CAMAY International, the word international, at gmail.com, telling us why you want to attend the gala. Why is it important for you to attend the gala? And we will pick a winner and announce on October 1st who the recipient of those tickets are. And that opportunity is available to anybody else who wants to be involved, who wants to sponsor this event, and who really wants to help raise awareness and break the silence around workplace bullying. If you can't attend the event, if you can't be here in person, give somebody else an opportunity to attend the event. And again, if you're interested in doing that, send an email to misskamayinternational@gmail.com, and we can definitely help you out with sponsorship for sure.
Yes, and that's a wrap. But don't don't let go of us too soon, because you know what? We're going to come back. Me and my darling Ms. Camay, we are so not finished with this conversation. Ms. Camay is, again, her Ms. Camay's Black Tie Fashion Gala is October 16th. And you may be able to win tickets, just like Ms. Camay said. So please, please hit Ms. Camay up. And she's everywhere. She's on Facebook. She's on Twitter. She just gave you her email address. I just want to make sure that all of you join us back again when Ms. Camay and I get back together, and we talk about bullying in the workplace, because I'm definitely 100% in, and so is AI, to make sure that we're doing what Ms. Camay said, breaking the silence
around
bullying in the workplace. Boo.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Camay. You know how
Thank
much
you.
I
Yes, yes. Well, and I think it's love, I think it's important for our audience also to know that you, Miss Luvleigh Alston, is my mistress of ceremonies for Miss Camay's Black Tie Fashion Gala. You are actually going to be kicking off our event and opening up the evening festivities for us with your fabulousness, and sharing your experience and statistics about workplace bullying. I don't. You always give me such credit and accolades, and I want everybody to know that Miss Love will be in Seattle, Washington, live on location at Miss Camay's Black Tie Fashion Gala. I hope you guys are ready. I hope Seattle's ready for all this fabulousness that we're gonna have together.
Oh yeah, between the two of us, I don't think y'all can. Yeah. Oh my God, just the shoes alone, girl. Woo! And then I'm going to be talking about bullying in the workplace, which I'm so passionate about. What? Darn. I see y'all there.
Yes. Please join us. Please join us.
Thank you so much, Ms. Camay. This has been a wonderful time, and we will be back again. I just wanted you guys to know how much I love you. That's why we do these shows, because I love you so very much. And it's important to me that I make sure you're cared for and taken care of. So if you're not already, I hope you're having a fabulous time, because it's all about you. It's all about responding rather than reacting. And ooh, I'm in with you. So, love you very much. Check you guys soon. Have a great one. This has been Real Life with Love. 3D TV, baby.